entered this plan last month. And this plan already grown up. Hey! Hey! Is that my old friend? She looks taller than before. How can that happen? How? Let me show some examples, such as this house. How's this house constructed?
This house is built of bricks. Each brick is this house's basic unit of the house. This also same applies to living things. Living things are composed of basic units called cells.
Living things on Earth,
From the tiniest creatures
to the tallest of trees,
are made of microscopic parts called cells. Cells are the basic units of all living things, including animals, plants, and also humans. Cells are the building blocks of life. A cell is the smallest unit of living things that can be function and survive on its own. Cells are responsible for carrying out for a life process such as respiration, excretion, division, digestion, reproduction, and growth. A cell will eventually die and a new cell will be formed through the cell division process. Who is actually found about cells? In 1665, an English scientist named Robert Hooke was the first person named the cells. He was examining a piece of cork under the microscope that he invented. From the microscope, he found out a small box-shaped structure, and he named the structure as cells. So, in this topic, we're gonna learn about plant cells and animal cells. What are the structures that can you find in plant cells and animal cells? Plant cells consist of nucleus, chloroplast, cell membrane, mitochondria, cytoplasm, vacuole, and cell wall, while animal cell consists of cell membrane, mitochondria, cytoplasm, and nucleus. So, what are the functions of structures in plant cell and animal cells? Cell membrane, it controls the flow of materials in and out of the cell. Nucleus, it controls all activities in the cell and it contains chromosomes consisting of deoxyribonucleic, which is DNA that carries genetic information. Mitochondria, it produces energy for reaction. Cytoplasm, it acts as a medium where chemical reaction occur. And vacuole that only have at plant cells, it provides support to cells when filled with cell sap, which is cell sap is a fluid that found in vacuoles that serve as storage of materials and provide mechanical support. Cell wall also only have at plant cells, which is it provides support, protection, and fixed shape to the cell. Also chloroplast that only have at plant cells, it absorbs light energy for the process of photosynthesis. So the differences between animal and plant cells are: animal cells doesn't have cell wall, chloroplast, vacuoles, and fixed shape, while plant cells have cell wall, chloroplast, vacuoles, and fixed shape. For information, animal cells also containing a small vacuoles but in different content from plant cells. There are two types of organism, which is unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms are organisms that consist of only one cell, which is uni means one, while multicellular organisms are organisms that consist of more than one cell, which is multi represent to many. So first, let's take a look at unicellular organism. Let's get some water from the pond and we study it under microscope. We could not see them before because a single cell is impossible to see with the naked eyes, which is why we are using this microscope. Let's look at euglena. Euglena shares both plant and animal characteristics. It has chloroplast in itself for photosynthesis process, which is also present in plants. But unlike plants, it can move from one place to another. These cells can move, which is why we say they have animal characteristics. So, let's look at another unicellular organism. How about amoeba? Amoeba can change its shape and move with the help of pseudopodia. Pseudopodia are false feet that amoeba forms, and it also helps amoeba eat by stretching out the false feet that allow the amoeba to swallow its food. Next, we go to another very common unicellular organism, paramecium. Paramecium can move quite fast with the help of this small hair-like structure. So, the last one, the unicellular organism is Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas is a green algae which typically has two flagella for swimming and living in water and moist soil. Chlamydomonas is the plant kingdom in unicellular organism. So next, let's take a look at multicellular organism. Different types of cells have different functions. Many cells of the same type come together to perform the same function in a body. Can you name some multicellular organisms around you? Yes. The examples of multicellular organisms around us is like animals, humans, and plants. But cells are very tiny, so multicellular that are made up of fewer cells end up being microscopic and cannot seen by the naked eyes, such as Hydra, Spirogyra, and Mucor. Cells are the basic units of life in all organisms. This is the example of human cells, which is nerve cells, red blood cells, and muscle cells. While some examples for plant cells are epidermal cells, gut cells, and palisade cells. So, this is the formation of an organism. It starts with cells, and most cells inside an organism have specific functions. When a group of cells performing a specific function and combine, it will be formed being a tissues. Examples of tissues are nerve tissues, epithelium tissues, muscle tissues, and epidermal tissues. When a group of different tissues that work together to perform a specific function is called as an organ. For example, a heart consists of the nerve tissue, epithelium tissues, and muscle tissues, which work together to pump blood to all parts of body. Other organs of the human bodies include brain, skin, lung, and stomach. While for plants, the organs are leaves, stems, flowers, and fruits. In a multicellular organism such as human, several organs work together to form a system. For example, the circulatory system consists of organs such as the heart and blood vessels. Other systems in human body are skeletal system, muscular system, and respiratory system. And all systems work together to make up an organism. So, this is some example of cell organization in human or animals. So, a group of epithelium cells combine to form the epithelium tissues. And when a group of different tissues, which is epithelium tissues, muscle tissues, and nerve tissues, work together to perform a specific function, will form an organ, which is stomach. When a group of different organs that work together to perform specific function will form a system, which is digestive system. And when all the system is work together, such as digestive system, skeletal system, lymphatic system, blood circulatory system, and respiratory system, it will make up an organism. Now, let's look at the examples of cell organization in plants. When a group of epidermal cells combine to form, it will be formed epidermal tissues. And a group of different tissues that work together, it will be perform a specific function to form an organ, such as leaf. And when a group of different organs that work together, which is fruits, flowers, leaf, stem, it will be form a system, which is shoot system. And when all systems work together, it will make up an organism.